Hey, we're back. This is John.
It's Paul.
And it's Eric.
As What If Geeks, and we are here at the end of August with a Geekly Weekly or a Geekly Bi-Weekly because we're woke. Oh, I know. Bi-weekly is okay. Sorry.
We're curious, so it's bi-weekly.
We're very curious as to what this week is bringing us. Dad jokes. Stay tuned, guys. Oh shit! All right, so I guess real quick, what's everybody been up to? How we doing? We having fun?
I'm told we're having fun.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah,
that's what I get too. So all right, cool. Yeah, nothing new for anybody. Anybody into anything? I know, Paul, you were the only one of us to make it to MegaCon.
Yeah, made it to MegaCon. It was good. I feel like there were fewer vendors than in years past, maybe because they didn't have it last year. And we went Friday, so the crowd was not as heavy as it was going to be on the weekends. Saw in the celebrity part where Shatner was, but he wasn't there that minute, but he was there Friday. It was like, I forget, $90 to get a picture or an autograph of Shatner or something crazy like that.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe more. The guy, Adam Savage from Mythbusters, was like $50. That was nuts. A lot of cool stuff. And my kids really had a good time. So it was a blast.
Yeah. I remember the MegaCon I went to a few years back. It was very expensive, but I mean, yeah, I liked it. Unfortunately, I was down with COVID, so yay. But so I'm glad I didn't buy tickets to it. Yeah, so I mean, just been doing the same shit here. Like I told you guys before we started recording yesterday, I took the whole family to Disney and Hollywood Studios, and we rode everything, and it was a good time. It was fun. It was nice and sunny. And the rain started coming for about a split second. And I was like, all right, it's going to cool off. And then it stopped. I said, never mind. Damn it. Okay. But yeah, all in all, it was a good day. You know, Hollywood Studios is like a half-day park. So we went for a good few hours and came home. So it was a good time.
Did you do they don't do fast passes anymore. What are they? The genie thing? Did you do any of that?
Yeah, they got a genie thing, but no, I've got the disability pass because I'm all broken, and so I can just get a return time for stuff. So we really didn't need any of that.
Got it.
But the line, it was surprisingly not empty, but open. Like it wasn't as crowded as some days I've remembered going there. So it was a good time. It was, you know, the crowd was there, but it wasn't like the massive throngs of people that have been there on other days I've gone. You know, we could barely walk.
Yeah, if you got on every ride, I think it must not have been that bad.
Yeah, no, almost every ride was the ones that we did not get return times for, which was like, I'd say 2/3 of the rides we didn't need a return time for. They were like a 15-minute wait tops.
That's not bad.
And yeah.
That's a good deal. The only time we ever had maybe like a month after the pandemic or something, maybe it was a little longer than that. We went before our passes expired, our annual passes expired. It was dead. We were able to do whatever we wanted, but that's rare. It's super rare.
Yeah. Yesterday was like the perfect day. So hopefully whenever we go back to one of the other parks, it'll be similar because it was nice not having to deal with all the crowds. So all right, cool. So you want to get into this?
Yeah, sure thing. So
Eric, you did an amazing job. Why don't you start walking through some of this shit?
So last week, the 23rd through the 26th was CinemaCon at Caesar's Palace in Vegas. That's sort of like the Hollywood Comic-Con, right? So it's for movies and TV shows and stuff. A few things came out of that I thought were interesting, and I hate to bore everybody with statistic data, but I just thought this was interesting because we've talked so much about movie theaters and how it seems like they're going to flop, and how they've struggled through this pandemic stuff. Well, not even struggled, they just fucking closed. But you know, what was going to happen of it. So the National Association of Theater Owners and the Motion Picture Association apparently did enough lobbying during the pandemic. They got enough money funneled down to theaters, like particularly mom and pop theaters, that they were able to actually stay open and survive this. So the stat they gave during that press roundtable, which was the National Association of Theaters CEO, who's John Petit, he was talking about, kind of all the data behind it. But so there was about 43,000 theaters in the US pre-pandemic, and now there's only 42,000. So they really didn't lose hardly any, it seems like. And now some of those were saved by, bankruptcy filings and reorganizing. So it wasn't all pandemic money that saved them. But I was actually shocked to hear that number. That's it, 1,000 theaters. That's all we lost in what has it been? A year and 3 months with like almost no movies.
Yeah, that's shocking, actually. I really thought they were.
I thought it would have been, I thought it would have been a lot more than that.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it would have been like a quarter of the industry. In fact, he said during his speech that he thought half of them would probably close.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say a quarter was low, but okay.
But yeah, so, there was a few that didn't make it, but overall apparently did really, really well considering. But now this leaves another sort of question about what happens in the future, right? Because you guys know, like Warner Brothers Studios is doing what they call now day and date, which is when you drop it in theaters and on your streaming service at the same time, which a lot of people are bitching about, in the movie theater industry, right?
Sure.
But then there's also this other thing that I never even really thought about, but now that stuff is going to streaming either immediately or even if it's just quickly, like maybe it goes to the theater for a month or something and then goes to streaming, it's being pirated like a motherfucker now because there's so many different venues people can get the movies on. So that
that sounds familiar.
Well, so that people aren't paying, they're not paying for the streaming, really, they're not paying for the theater. So there's like sort of a lingering revenue issue that exists, even if theaters are open now and they keep doing it both ways. It's actually still doing a lot of harm dropping it on streaming first for that reason, just for, people will pirate it and then never go watch it, never pay for it. And so, there is good news out of the thing, which is that, film production is actually starting to stabilize now. They're actually starting to release shit. Everything's not being delayed anymore. And there's a whole sort of slew of movies in the backlog that are going to be coming out soon. And at least a chunk of them will be in theater releases. Like Free Guy, they did it to theaters and decided not to do the streaming. And so there's going to be more like that. But, companies like Warner Brothers, I just mentioned a minute ago, are still sticking with this day and date thing, at least through the end of the year.
Right.
So, who knows what I heard about them was that starting next year, and it's not going to be every movie, but a fair chunk of them, they're going to do a theater release. And then, the old timeline, you'd wait 3 months, maybe more before it ended up. They're going to do 45 days exclusive for the theater starting next year. And then they'll go to streaming or put them on.
I thought at some point it was going to be like 17 day. When did we hear that? Oh, it was around all the when Trolls World Tour came out straight to video, like at the beginning of the pandemic, and one of the theater lines, I don't know, AMC or one of those, like flipped out and said, all right, Universal, we're not carrying any of your movies anymore.
Yep.
And they worked out some deal where like, all right, you'll get it, but the number was like way less than 45. It was like 17 or 20 or something like that.
So that you're exactly right on the people. That was AMC and Universal that came to that agreement for the theatrical window. 17 days is the right number too. Very good memory, Paul.
Yeah.
I wonder if with the rise of the Delta variant, I wonder if now theaters are right. We're not shut down. We're not in a shutdown, but I wonder if people are like, I'm just not ready for the theater yet. Like I'm just not, or they were about to be ready. And then Delta happens and they're like, I'm not ready.
Yeah, so, I think you're right.
So this is probably a bit of a theater association propaganda, but I was reading an article about it and they were saying, movie theater is actually one of the least risky places to get COVID because people are in there sitting in a seat, socially distanced. Everybody's facing like forward, you know, they're not like
Right.
looking at each other or talking at each other. And so again, that may be a little bit of theater propaganda, but the thing I was reading say you're far less, and plus they're doing cleanings in between all the movies.
And you're quiet, right? You're not.
Yeah, and you're not
Yeah.
talking. Yeah. So
That makes sense. It makes sense.
it makes sense, but also I don't think it's gonna get people to rush back to the theater.
No.
A couple other things that came out of CinemaCon. They did a number of exclusive trailer releases, and they wouldn't allow people to record them. So I cannot find them online. We're just gonna have to wait. But several companies did sort of like word by word breakdowns of what was going on in it. So I thought a couple of those were interesting. Matrix 4 was one of the big ones that they had. If you guys click the link in the outline there, it's got like a verbal breakdown or whatever of not a verbal, but written breakdown of how the thing goes. But so the official title of that is going to be Matrix Resurrections. And although I said I couldn't find the trailer online anywhere, it is expected to be released to the public sometime soon. The way that trailer is set up, and I won't go through the line by line, you guys can look at it if you want, but I mean, basically it seems like Neil Patrick Harris is playing a shrink at the beginning, talking to Neo about whether he's crazy or not, remembering what he thinks he remembers from the Matrix. You know, it's almost like it's something is reset. He's kind of like trapped in some Matrix limbo or something. And in the trailer it says he runs into Trinity, and but at like a coffee shop, and she's like, "Do I know you? Have we met before?" You know, and then there's this whole weird scene with like a bunch of pills being like poured out, blue pills being poured out, and then you get a Matrix. What the hell's his name? Oh gosh, I forgot. Who's got to give him a pill? Wow.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Morpheus.
Yeah. Morpheus. Thanks, Morpheus. And there's like a voiceover of Morpheus saying something about taking the red pill or whatever. So I don't know what this movie's gonna be after reading that. I'm kind of a little bit confused about what the storyline is.
Yeah, the thing I read too on a different article was basically it was kind of like the Matrix found a way to reset itself and trap him again, but he's still within his memory. You know, he's got suppressed memories of what happened, and that's why he sees Neil Patrick Harris's therapist. And yeah, and it's that whole thing. And like the blue pills is actually he's taking them like as a daily
daily regimen or whatever.
He stays in the Matrix.
Right. And so those pills that spill into a sink or whatever, I guess, are his. So then I guess it's finally when Morpheus finally finds him, gets him the red pill. But yeah, so I think essentially, I mean, it almost sounds like it's going to be one of our favorite words, the infamous reboot quill, where it's, which I'm good with, because it's still a continuation of the story. But if it kind of hits a soft reset on it a little bit for younger audiences, that's cool. It definitely sounded interesting. And it's funny too that you said you can't find it online anywhere, because when I saw the notice drop that it had dropped at CinemaCon, I went and looked online, and of course immediately it was, you know, Matrix 4 trailer or whatever. So I'll click it, and at first you would hear what sounded like some of the words. So I guess somebody might have recorded it like hidden.
The audio,
yeah. So you got some of the audio, and like it was like a hallway, and you heard like the "Am I crazy? We don't use that word here," whatever. But it was talking. It was hard to hear, and then it would flash here and there, and then I realized, okay, wait, nope, that's a shot of Keanu Reeves from John Wick, and that's so I was like, okay, that's a fan made bullshit. So clicked on another one. The other one was completely different, but it kind of sounded like it could be something all right. And then I caught something in that one. I was like, nope, you're wrong. And the last one I clicked, I almost thought I found it because it was similar to the second one, but a lot of the bullshit that I caught right away in the middle was cut out. So I was like, okay, I know they added that other part in, so maybe I found it. But then by the end, I was like, nope. Yeah. So yeah, three times I tried.
it'd be great if you had a trailer that was spliced together from like John Wick, Special Agent Utah, from Point Break, Special Agent Utah, and then from Bill and Ted, and then from something else.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the very first one I looked at almost kind of was not Bill and Ted, but almost was that. Because I remember I probably the same one you pulled up at first. It's definitely a fan-made trailer. It's like you see him from, I don't even know what movie that was, but he's got a little bit longer hair where it's like a little below his ears or something, and he's saying one thing, and then it switches to a different image.
I think it was Constantine.
Yeah, maybe it was Constantine.
Like, one was Constantine, one was Point Break.
But it was the John Wick one that triggered me when he was outside in the rain or whatever. I'm like,
yeah, with the beard and everything. I was like, that's legit straight out of John Wick. I was like, I remember that scene. You're full of shit. But and then they just interspliced some shots of him as Neo and the other people
chasing down the bus in Speed, like all of it.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah. So there was also
the Matrix can't go below 55.
Bodhi.
Jesus.
There was also a couple of scenes. It's not a proper trailer, but there's a couple of scenes extra they showed for Robert Pattinson or Matt Reeves' Batman, whichever one you want to call it. Not much. I mean, it was like a first view of Andy Serkis as Alfred. And they did a couple new scenes of what's her name, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. But then what was accompanied with this that I thought was interesting, and maybe we're talking about for a second, was that they opened it with like Pattinson and Matt Reeves talking about what they were doing, for the movie, right? And they're just talking about how it's like a radically different Batman. It's very grounded. He's not going to be like a superhero. He is a superhero, but you know what I mean? He's not like over the top like he's been in some things like Batman versus Superman.
Right.
His suit actually has armor plates on it to like sort of drill in the fact that he's human and mortal,
Right.
So
I've been holding out hope for this movie because I love Batman. I even held on to the fact that Robert Pattinson is a good enough actor to play this. The minute I read radically different take than the other, I was like, here we go again. Every time I see the words radically different from other iterations of a character, you make me nervous. You make me nervous. So we'll see. I'm still gonna hold out hope for it.
Yeah.
Because that one trailer looked good. So
there is supposed to hopefully be a formal trailer released at DC Fandom, which will be October. I forgot to put in the thing. October 16th.
16th.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
And then there was one other movie on there I just thought was super interesting, and I forgot that there was actually some scenes, like maybe a teaser trailer or something released like over a year ago for this, and I just forgot about it. And it was Samaritan. It's like a Sylvester Stallone movie where he plays like a washed up superhero that supposedly died like 2 decades prior to when the movie takes place. And he's just sort of living a normal life, denying that he was ever a superhero. And then some kid next door or down the street or whatever recognizes him. Not recognizes, but I think you're that superhero. And he's like, no, I'm not, kid. Shut the fuck up. And then something happens. He gets in an accident or something, gets hit by a truck. I don't remember what it said about that thing, but his bones are all shattered and shit. And then the kid sees him like sort of like popping his shit back into place. And then he's like, you are him, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so there's apparently like a super action-packed superhero movie, but it's done more kind of in the style of like, what was that one Will Smith did where he's sort of like
Hancock,
like more in that style where, it's sort of a little bit more, not realistic necessarily, but you know what I mean? Like it's more grounded to a real person or whatever.
Hancock was a pretty good movie.
I liked Hancock, I like Sylvester Stallone, so I'm all about this one. Something I've read this morning that kind of, go ahead if you want to finish up Samaritan.
Oh, well, I was just going to say real quick, I was listening to a reading, I think, comments from the director, and he was talking about how they had Stallone do like a shit ton of action in this. And he was like, I'm totally shocked that at 73 years old, he was able to do this stuff. But he's like, you're going to be super impressed. So I'm kind of intrigued by it. And I want to see where it's at.
Right. Well, on a Stallone note, I read this morning on a news article. They're coming back with another Expendables. Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't see
No.
that.
Yeah, so him, Statham, Lundgren, they're all back. And there's a handful of others that are in it. I forget who, but a couple of newer characters coming in. But yeah, so I mean, and I like the Expendables series. I thought it was great. It was, it was a lot of fun for an 80s fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bunch of people in this one too. So don't know what the hell it's gonna be about.
They're not about anything. Like, that's the best part about those movies. There's some weird. There's a MacGuffin.
There's a mission. There's a MacGuffin. They gotta go.
There's a MacGuffin that has to happen, and then they're just like, all right, who do we have in this movie? Okay, let's draw straws and just see who's gonna fight, and we'll just figure out how we're gonna get each of these guys individually or collectively on some sort of battlefield, and let's just fight.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, so I'm all for it. I think it's still in the early stages. So, but I read that this morning. I was like, oh, cool. I like that. All right. So
one more thing out of CinemaCon that I missed. Sony did just like a presentation about all the stuff they're working on and doing or whatever. Something that came up in that though was that they've maybe unofficially, but very much in front of everybody here, have rebranded their Spider-Man Marvel Cinematic Universe with the new name, because it's gone by the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters or something to date, right? It's just sort of a generic name that nobody actually uses, and now they put a branding on it, really. So they're calling it Sony's Spider-Man universe. And while that sounds stupid, still, it made me think that that probably means that whatever they've worked out with Marvel, that they're going to try to continue that now for the long term. I think. I don't feel like they bother with this and showing the videos and then having this branding kind of thing if that wasn't their intent.
Yeah, I think they're going to try desperately to renew their deal, because like we've been talking for a while now. Once Disney finally decides they've had enough of playing nice, they're just going to back up that Brinks truck and unload a shit ton of money. About maybe 3 or 4 days before the trailer dropped, I saw another article that was like reigniting that fire about Disney considering just buying it all out again. I'm like, well, I know they drop that story once every year or two, but right before the movie comes out, right before the deal is over, yeah, because again, the people don't necessarily associate Spider-Man with Sony anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Common people do not. They don't get who Fox owned before. They don't get. They don't understand the thing with Hulk. They don't understand the Spider-Man thing. They just know now Spider-Man is running around with the Marvel guys, so they associate him with Disney, and eventually Disney's going to pull the trigger on that one and be like, let us buy it all back. And that was the article, was basically like they're looking at their options of either just buying the rights back to all the characters or pulling more weight and trying to buy out some of like the Sony Pictures part of it, which is, or it was parts of it because it was also like they've got their video game things with Spider-Man 2 that Disney can get control of, and it was weird. It was like a whole big thing. I'm like, these guys are about to drop billions again, but they can do it because of Disney.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if by the end of next year we hear that they've just bought it outright. Then all they got left is Universal and the Hulk.
Yeah.
And Disney's gonna own fucking Universal Studios too. It's gonna be one gigantic fucking park in Orlando. It's just, you think you had gondolas going from park to park before? You have giant tubes that shoot you from Magic Kingdom to Island of Adventure.
At some point, the government will intervene and be like, "No more. This is too ridiculous. You're a gigantic."
Yeah, and then at this point, Disney will buy them out.
Pseudo monopoly. Yeah, exactly. Fine. We'll buy the FCC if that's what you want.
That's right.
By the entire American government. Fuck it.
Sorry to rearrange things on you, but sticking on movies, I somehow missed this one until there was an announcement about casting. And I'm not even going to talk about who was cast, but there's apparently a Lion King prequel movie in the works, and it's based on that stupid reboot with the photorealistic animals or whatever. They're doing a whole nother fucking movie. And I was like,
some more lions with no emotions.
The Cantamote.
I don't even know I do know what they're thinking. They're thinking, okay, we got 1.6 billion off the first Lion King remake, so let's try again. I mean, that's what they're thinking. But and they didn't cover anything about what the story is. I wasn't able to find that anywhere. I mean, it's going to be about Mufasa when he's younger and his brother Scar, who apparently has a different name. Scar is just the nickname, and they have a real name for him. That'll be a part of that. But I was just, you know how much I hated that movie, so I'm just really upset that they're making a prequel to it, and they don't even have James Earl Jones, for Christ's sake.
But like you said, 1.6 billion.
People are
they're just trying to build up that buy Sony out money. That's all they're doing.
And then one other thing I saw, Twitter, actually, Dave Bautista posted a tweet tagging Jason Momoa about, it was like, hey, heads up or whatever. Just thought I'd put this out there. We're going to do a buddy cop movie together. And so there was this little chain that went along with it. But apparently they are doing one together. And I don't think it's been even written yet. But David Leitch, who did the Hobbs and Shaw movie, is going to direct this thing, and then Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa as two buddy cops. Momoa, apparently, based on the tweets, had some ideas about what it might be and how they should do the story, and they wanted to film it in Hawaii. So that's about all I can tell you right now, but it sounded really interesting to me.
I've not seen the show. I've not seen this show. It's on Apple TV. It's called See.
Yeah.
Momoa's in, and I guess Bautista's in this new season because there was an ad with them like looking at each other. Although the whole premise of the show is no one in that world can see, so maybe they don't know that they're.
Yeah, I watched Heather and I watched 3 episodes of it, and we were like, "All right, you've lost us." It's kind of no one can see. There's like everybody's blind, but somehow they're still able to fight like good fight scenes. Like, really? I know if I were blind, how that fight would go.
Everyone's Daredevil.
Yeah. But,
they're also cast together in that Dune reboot that's coming. At the end of the year.
Yeah. So apparently they're getting to be good buddies, which is good because I mean, look, as much as I love Jason Momoa. I have to watch anything with him in it because my wife will drag me to it anyway. Dave Bautista, I've liked everything he's done, right? But he needs some friends in Hollywood because I don't know if you guys saw this article. He was in an interview. I forget what it was about, right? And the interviewer asked him like, "Oh, well, you got a bunch of you guys have kind of made this trek now from wrestling into acting, and you've got Dwayne Johnson and John Cena." And he was nodding, and then they said, is there ever an opportunity for like the 3 of you to do a movie together? And he straight up said, "No, I don't ever want to do anything with those guys." He said, they're, and the way he said it is very like it was a Hollywood prima donna thing to say. Like he was like, they're wrestlers that got into acting. I'm something different. I was like, wow. That was, okay. He's like, I'm an artist. I want to work. And then he was like, I want to work with guys like, who's the Dune?
Wants to redo Shakespeare with Sir Anthony Hopkins or
who's the director of Dune? I'm gonna fuck his name up.
What?
The director of Dune, the remake.
Oh, Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, that one. I was like, Billy Dillanu. Yeah, that guy. He's like, I want to do stuff with guys like that and whatever. So he wants to go more, which I mean, I understand he wants to broaden his acting chops and everything, but I was like, dude, slow down. You're still a wrestler.
Play your role, Bautista.
Yeah. You're fucking Batista. You're the third one to try this.
Right.
That's been remotely successful. The others, there have been many that have tried it and have been horrendous.
Also, have you seen your emotional scenes in Army of the Dead? Because
that's what I was about to say too. Like, yeah. Range. You don't have much range.
It's got good reach, but not range.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want that. We don't want that smoke with Batista. He lives close enough to us to drive.
Yeah. Dave Batista, please don't kill us. We love you.
Be here in 2 hours.
We love you. We're sorry. Don't kill us. Someone's got to put everybody in their place. Might as well be me. All right, moving on. What else we got?
Moving on. I wanted to mention this for any gamer nerds out there listening. Square Enix, who owns all the rights to all the Final Fantasy original games or whatever, has decided, well, they actually decided a little while ago, but that they're going to re-release all of the Final Fantasy titles for Nintendo and SNES. So that's Final Fantasy 1 through 6 on PC and on iPhone and Android. And so
awesome.
They have redone all the menus and everything so that it works with the mobile phone well, or with the PC better. That you don't need the controller, kind of old school controller or anything to play them. They've also added some things in for like the completionists among us, like a bestiary, so you can like collect sort of all the monsters that you run into, and you can go to different parts of the map to find the ones you're missing and shit. So if you want to be like a total completionist through the game, you can do that. Then they added in some augmented reality stuff, which made me laugh. So you can like use the camera on your phone so that the battle scenes happen with like the backdrop of whatever you're looking at with your phone.
Yeah, like kind of like Pokemon Go does.
Yeah, exactly. Which
that's awesome.
was pretty interesting. So they released the first 3 last month, actually. And the remaining 3 are going to be released this month. So they've completely redone all the 2D pixel art. Now it looks very much the same, but they had to redo it to work on like the modern high resolution screens. Because if you try to take the old stuff and stretch it, it gets all fucked up and looks weird. So they've sort of redone it, still in the original style and everything, to make it work. And then they've remastered all the music. So it's not all going to be 8-bit music. And part of what they did is they made it so that you can choose the music anytime you want. It's like you got a player while you're playing the game, so you don't have to listen to like the same little song over and over because you're in a certain area like you did on the NES. You can play it wherever, and you actually get rights to have that music and play it wherever you want. It doesn't have to be in the game. And there's also some free wallpapers and stuff they're throwing in for people that do pre-orders.
Cool.
Yeah. So the only thing that I'm going to complain about, just the one thing, is that I saw that they had a Steam on bundle. You can get bundle on Steam. Steam on bundle. Okay. Bundle on Steam. You can get all
That's
6.
Something different.
Yeah. You can get all 6 titles, one buy. You get the ones that are already out, and then you get the ones that are coming out soon. It was $75. Wow. I'm like, wow. So, the idea of re-releasing an old game, that happens a lot. People charge, $3-5 a title. Yeah, they're effectively, with the discount, you're buying all 6. I mean, you're still paying whatever the hell that is. I don't know, but a lot. It's got to be $12 a title or something, right? It's like,
yeah, it is.
What the hell? I mean, that's a lot for an old NES game. Even with the remastering you've done, it seems crazy. So you can buy the titles individually if you want. They range in price from $12, so it's $11.99. For Final Fantasy 1 up to, I think it's $18.99 or $17.99 for Final Fantasy 6. So they kind of scale the price up a little if you want to buy them individually. But anyway, just thought I'd put that out there. I will probably buy one of them just to play it and see. Yeah, I can't justify $75 though.
Yeah, I'm looking at the App Store now, $12 for the original Final Fantasy. And at first I was like, I've got the originals on my Raspberry Pi. Yeah. So whatever. But with all that added shit, I'm like, I'm gonna have to spend $12 at least on one of them. See how much I like it.
Yeah, I think it might be worth it for a couple of them. There's some in that series that are really pretty good, but they didn't add
I loved all of them.
they didn't add any story content or anything like that. They were pretty explicit about that. They did add some monsters here and there and some other new stuff, but nothing that would change the gameplay really, aside from, you know, fixing the menus and stuff so it'll work fine on new devices.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out at least the first one.
We'll see if it works for them. It's an interesting concept. Not an interesting concept, it's a known, but I mean, trying to do it like that, where you're doing like a whole series, you know what I mean? Like, fuck it, we're just gonna do all of them. Here you go. You know, but trying to charge that kind of money, I don't know. I don't know if there are that many diehard fans.
Well, like I liked the original ones because I like all that Dungeons and Dragons, Dragon Warrior, Final Fantasy shit back in the day.
Dragon Warrior is another great one. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one. But once they got to like, I want to say it was like maybe 7 is one I remember, where the dude had the little Gatling gun on his arm and everything. It started to lose me. It was just like there was too many things going on in the game, and I got lost.
Yeah, I mean, the old ones are definitely very sort of medieval sorcerers and magic kind of stuff or whatever. And then I don't remember what title it was either, but at some point they like threw in like steampunk kind of stuff, and it got a little bit wild. Actually, the one I have, Final Fantasy 15 for the PlayStation 4, and that one is very much like different. It's very modern. You know, you got like vehicles and stuff you can drive around. It's very, very different than the originals, but it can still be fun.
Yeah.
I think it was actually 6 that introduced the steampunk stuff, but I'm not positive.
Maybe it was. I don't remember. But like I said, once it got into that stuff, I was like, you're losing me. So I went back to play like old school shit.
Yeah. All right. Trailers. You want to talk trailers?
Yeah, start with the second one.
Okay. So Star Wars.
Then after the trailers, I gotta take a quick break to help Noah out with something.
Okay, no worries. So Star Wars Visions is a Japanese anime medieval shogun kind of reimagining of the Star Wars universe, where the Jedi are almost like samurai or something. It's an interesting concept, and the production of it looks really kind of sweet, cool, to be honest. Yeah, it looks pretty neat. I watched the Japanese version of it, and I was kind of like, oh man, this is extreme. But then I watched that English dub over that you sent, and it's actually still got like the same sort of decent voice acting and everything. Like, it didn't seem so, you know, because for me, I can watch foreign film stuff fine, and I don't mind with the subtitles, but I tend to watch a lot less of that stuff because it's just distracting, especially at night. I always watch shit at night, and it's like, man, I don't want to fucking read all these words.
Yeah, like, I normally don't mind subtitles, but yeah, you're right. After a while, I get like, I just need to watch something with English.
Well, and you end up so concentrated on the words that you're missing the action happening, right? To try to follow along. So
yeah, and the mouth motions bother me after a while too. Like, your mouth didn't say that. Get the fuck out of here. So that premieres September 22nd on Disney Plus. I'm not sure if they're dropping all. So it's going to be 9 sort of unique stories, but all like in the same tied-in universe. So I'm not sure if they're dropping them all at once or one at a time. I did not pay attention to that. Do you know, John?
No, but you know, I thought they were going to drop more than one episode of What If. Right. They haven't done that, so
yeah, that doesn't seem to be their format. So I'm going to assume, one at a time probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to check it out.
This is cool, and I think it's a sort of a mature universe thing you can do, right? Like, it's harder to do to keep the Star Wars stories. There's a lot in the Star Wars universe you can do, right? But I think it'd be cool to get these other takes and have other people do things like this in the Star Wars universe. And then a what if in the Star Wars universe would be really cool.
I mean, this almost is a what if.
Yeah. I would love to see them do a what if.
But right, like do
did it.
the story of what if at the end of Empire Luke decides to join Vader? He's like, yeah, okay, cool. Hey, Dad, that's great. Let's do it.
They did a comic series a while ago. It was like but I think they retook the name and made Star Wars Visionaries. That was like the last thing they did, right?
Yeah.
This is Star Wars Visions, but it was something like Visionaries or something like that, and it was essentially a what if, and it was just like one or two things change, and I would love to see them do that.
Let Dave Filoni and John Favreau do some animation and get cool storytellers and just say, okay, here's what I'd always wonder, like what if at this point in the story it goes this way, right? What if any number of things happens?
Yeah. What if Han Solo came out of the carbonite but he was dead?
Right.
Like it killed him,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool.
All right, on to the big trailer. Then I gotta take a break. Dude. Spider-Man No Way Home dropped their first trailer the other day, and I had to change my shorts. Holy shit. This was everything I wanted in this trailer, and it showed you really next to nothing. It showed you like kind of what you already suspected and what the rumors have been here and there. It showed you next to nothing until you watched it 2, 3, 4 times. Then you started to pick up on really little things here and there. But again, Eric, you want to walk us through a little bit of the trailer, or walk us through the record first?
Yeah, so Avengers Endgame actually set a record for the most number of trailer views. I didn't know this until this one broke it, but 289 million views in the first 24 hours of release, which is fucking wild. I can't even believe that number. This one, this No Way Home trailer apparently beat it, logging 355.5 million views in the first 24 hours. Like, mind-blowing how many people were raring to watch this.
Yeah, I think I'm good for about a dozen of those.
Yeah, me too.
So this is coming in theaters December 17th. All right, Eric, you kind of walk us through shit better than I do, so I'll let you walk us through it, and then we can kind of comment on things as we go.
Oh, you got this one, man.
All right. Yes, we open up. No, because you're usually better at watching the shit and pausing it. You are.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, we open up with
Peter and MJ are chilling on the roof.
Peter and MJ on the roof. She's reading the New York Post, and it's got on the cover. It's got like Spider-Man, and it's just something like spider puppets or spider something, spider minions, and it's like him. It's Spider-Man, but it's got Peter Parker's high school photo over the head, and then the two little minions underneath them are Ned and MJ, right? And so she's reading about like, the rumor is, Spider-Man, he's something like he can cast, he can mind control women, hypnotizes women and whatever, and he was like, no, we can't do that. And they're hiding out, away from the crowds and everything. And then it kind of flashes quickly through the whole snippets of the end of Far From Home, where Mysterio released his secret identity to the world, and J. Jonah Jameson is all over the internet, because now the Daily Bugle is like a streaming news feed, which is why they're reading the Post and not the Bugle.
Yeah.
So, they do the whole thing of everyone knows Peter Parker Spider-Man, and is that when he starts doing the voiceover about like, when Mysterio released my identity to the world, everything came crashing down kind of thing, and it shows snippets of him walking through school and everybody holding up their phones on him and everything, what else happens?
There's scenes of him in like a police interrogation room.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're asking him questions about when you killed Mysterio, and he's like, no.
Yeah, he said no. He's like, I didn't kill him. The drones shot him, and they're like, yeah, your drones.
Right.
He's like, I wasn't in control of them, It's
But
funny too.
it's
He's
not.
kind of handcuffed to this desk, like he can't break out of that, right?
It's not a police station though. I'm pretty sure because if you remember in Spider-Man: Homecoming, that damage Department of Damage Control, the guy that's interrogating him has DODC like on a patch,
Yes.
like right across his thing. So
it's
not the police.
Their offices, or they could be working with the police, but it looks like damage control handles not just cleanup, but anything that goes wrong with Avengers or whatever. So this would be a major catastrophe for them to have to fix, So so they're interrogating him, and the rumor is, again, and people have been freeze framing this fucking trailer left and right. The rumor is Charlie Cox is coming back as Matt Murdock to be his lawyer, and it's a very heavy rumor. And they keep saying that like there's one shot of a guy in front of the window that you really can't see, but his body type isn't quite right. They kept saying that's Charlie Cox, and then the dude that slams the files in front of Peter, and they're like, that's him too, because he does the same thing in Daredevil. I'm like, because he slams some files. I mean, plus if that's his defense attorney, why is he throwing shit at him unless he's just pissed that he gave up, or that he fucked up, but stupid. I still think he's in the movie. I just don't think that you're seeing him at all, right?
Yeah, that seems pretty.
But I
seems like
think because then you like after those shots or in between those shots, you do see him, like I said, walking through school and this and that, whatever. So I think what happens is after he goes on the run, because you see a shot of like him and Aunt May watching the Daily Bugle on TV, right? And there's sirens in the background. You see them flashing on the walls, right? I think after they run away, him and MJ, he goes back to Aunt May to check on her, and they're hiding out in the apartment watching the Daily Bugle announcement. And that's when damage control comes to get him, because within that interrogation room, you see him still wearing the same clothes he was wearing on the couch, and Aunt May is in the interrogation room as well at another clip, right? And then Ned as well. So I think that's kind of like the flow of the story, so to speak. And they're going to come get him, but then I think you're going to have that courtroom scene, and Matt Murdock is at least going to get him off, not get him off, get him, I don't know, something, get him off on probation or something for now, for everything he did to help. And that's when you see him walking through the school, and everybody's got the cameras out and whatever. Because you see him walking to the school, and they got like the protesters outside with the signs with his face on it, like a devil and everything. Mephisto.
We're getting Mephisto in here somehow.
Yeah, get him somehow. But then in the background, there are some that are like, you can't see him because they don't focus on him. They want to focus on the negativity right now, right? But in the background, there are some people that are there in support of him. You can see, like, Spider-Man saved this, or he's our hero, whatever. There's like, or a heart in Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, whatever. So there are some that love him. So then he's home again. He's like, I got to find a way to fix this. And he looks up at his lights, and it's like little sorcerers. It looks like Doctor Strange. So here he goes to Bleecker Street. I don't know what the fuck happened to the Sanctum Sanctorum, but the doors open up and it's all snowy inside. Yeah. Like Strange has been hanging out with Elsa or something, but this thing is all like covered in snow and frost and ice. And when the doors open up, Strange is floating above the staircase, like he's apt to. And he's got the cape around his neck, but he's got a parka and sweatshirt and a hoodie on, yeah. He looks like he's just chilling out in the winter. And he said, Mr. Parker, and he says, "Come on in." And Peter basically says, "I think I need your help, sir." And that was one of my favorite parts of the trailer. He's like, "I think I need your help, sir." And Dr. Strange is like, "Peter, we saved half the universe. I think we've gone beyond, sir." And he goes, "Okay, Steven, I need your help." And Strange goes, "All right, a little weird, but I'll allow it." So essentially, Peter asks him to cast a spell to make everybody forget that he's Spider-Man, a la One More Day. comic storyline that all the fans hate.
So
Go to Strange.
why
first. Strange
can
said
I
no.
ask? Can I ask a question? Why is Strange so eager to do this?
Yeah, that's
He has been like the don't fuck with the timeline,
Correct.
stop fucking with shit, quit messing around. Oh, for you, Peter, yeah, it's fine. We'll fuck
Sure.
it all up.
You want me to erase everybody's memory? Yeah, no problem.
Two theories. One, Strange is still always kind of cocky, right? So he thinks maybe he can pull this off. Or three theories. Two, he, between the WandaVision shit and everything else that went on with Loki and everything, because all that shit is supposed to be happening about the same time, right? What if he feels a bigger threat coming and he knows that opening up the multiverse is a way to gain heroes to correct it? You know what I mean? Or three, he's really Mephisto.
Should have seen that coming.
Can we pause it for a second? Let me go help him. He's got homework, then he's gonna go to bed. I'll be like
All
5
right.
minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
I'll get
I
more
don't want
coffee.
to. I don't want to stop this trailer. Sorry. Go.
All right, we're good.
So, what do you guys think would be behind Strange's casting this fucking spell? Because it doesn't go well.
I like it. I like that it's not him. I like that it's not him. It's I don't know who.
Mephisto.
Mephisto. Sure, I'll take Mephisto. Someone. I don't know that anybody in this outside of the X-Men universe does the full sort of Mystique, right? Total body impersonation, but I'll take somebody impersonating him. Don't know.
Somebody that can do this magic though. Ooh, I don't know.
Unless Agatha Harkness found a way out.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry. You still got more, Paul?
Otherwise, you gotta have it's something terrible like, and this would be super lame. So I don't even like if a writer goes to Kevin Feige with this, that the whole thing's a dream. Like that guy gets even bringing up the idea, right, and like laughed at it. But it's got to be something that at the end it either launches us into the idea of the multiverse, or it's something that doesn't like it's self-contained and doesn't actually happen.
Right. And the idea that this is definitely going to launch us into the multiverse has been there. We've been talking about it, right? Everything seems to be leading that way. The fact that the whole Spider-Man's identity in the One More Day thing in the comics, like I said earlier, he did go to Strange first, and Strange said, no, I can't help you. And then that's when Mephisto popped up and was like, I could do it. I just need your marriage. Because that was whatever. And fans hated it, right? If they could find a way to still kind of work something similar to that into this, but have the fans love it, it'd be impressive. You know, to still take that storyline that fans hated, because they're essentially doing it. They're using magic, right? So whatever the reason is, either it's his ego, he senses a greater threat, or it's not really Doctor Strange. That's the three I'd go with.
You know what? Go ahead.
I would say though, because I'm going to get into like what happens when they start casting the spell. So whatever you want to say.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, Doctor Strange, at least in the MCU, has a knack for knowing what's going to happen in the future, so to speak, right? Because there's that moment in Endgame where he says there's 14 million ways this can play out, right? How many of them do we win? One. And it was almost a signal to Stark for what needed to happen. You know, but like he had already seen the play out. So, I mean, maybe there's obviously something wrong, because when Peter Parker walks into the Citadel, it's fucking frozen. Like the whole thing's in ice. Like, what the fuck is going on, right? So something's clearly wrong. But I mean, maybe he sees this. So this can be like a Nexus event almost. But he knows what the end is gonna be after it plays out.
Right. Yeah, and I wouldn't be mad about that either, because he's done it before. So when Peter begs him to help him, he looks at him, and Wong comes walking through with his bags packed, and says, Strange, don't do the spell. And Strange says, okay, I won't. And Wong goes through a portal. I assumed he was on his way to fight Abomination in Shang-Chi, however they're pronouncing it. But somebody, at another video I watched, said if you look in the portal, you can clearly kind of see the training grounds for from the first Doctor Strange movie, the area they were in there. I forget what it's called, but it looks like it's that area. Like there's a temple there that looks just like it. So maybe he's going back there for something.
There is actually a temple there. I'm looking at it right now. There is a temple through the portal.
Yeah, so it could be he's headed back to where their headquarters is for whatever reason. But he says, Strange, don't do this spell. And then Strange says, I won't. And then as soon as he goes to the portal, he winks at Peter, and then cuts to them in the basement in front of a cauldron. Very Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Like, with the pensieve and shit, right? With the magic coming, like his yellow magic is kind of being dripping it into the damn cauldron and everything. And he starts casting this spell, and he explains to Peter that, you know, this spell is going to make everybody forget everything that led up to you know, the revelation that you're Peter Parker, or Spider-Man is Peter Parker. And as he's doing it, these giant circles start forming around them of Strange's yellow magic energy, right? And Peter steps into them with him and starts like, wait, everybody, you know, not MJ, she's gonna forget everything. What about Aunt May? And Dr. Strange is like, stop talking, you know, you're breaking up the spell. And which he says, like, two things. He's like, shut up, Peter, like, stop. You're screwing up the spell. And every time he mentions another name, the spell starts to get wobbly and fucked up. And then Strange loses it, but he manages to like condense all those rings down into a little thing. Two things I noticed was, one, the rings were very similar to the that ring in Loki, the energy ring that Kang essentially said is the timeline. And it goes in a perfect ring, basically. Remember? At the end of Loki, he said it's like a perfect ring. It looked like the same energy, but yellow, and it was like flowing the same way. But now he had multiple ones, which would be the multiverse, right? And he had like 4 of them, which would hopefully, to me, just throwing theories out there, because I mean, you already got some clue into it in the rest of the trailer and the rumors. You got the Sam Raimi universe, you've got the Amazing Spider-Man universe, you've got this one, and then maybe that 4th one is the Venom universe. You know, maybe they might not see anything from that yet, but a possibility for something down the line, right? Or it could be the Fox universe with all the X-Men and shit. Fantastic Four, right? Who knows?
Every time we do this, though, it turns out never to be that.
Yeah, but there's something else in there that we're going to talk about too, because it could be Fox too, right? And then when they could, the other thing I loved about this is the whole thing that fucks up the spell is Spider-Man's inability to shut up, which is what infuriates all his enemies. He never shuts up. So I thought that was kind of a cool, like, okay, yeah, Spider-Man fucked it up, right? So he drops this thing into a small circle, which essentially is what he puts in that container, right? Because you see it later on in the trailer, there's like Spider-Man is running around with this freaking box looking thing, and that sphere of energy looks like it's inside of it. So either he's trying to protect it or use it to fix things. I'm not sure which. But on the Fox theory, and then we can get into the rest of the trailer, there is one scene when Spider-Man and MJ are kind of going through the city. There's a banner. You can see in the background what used to be Avengers Tower, and it's kind of reconstructed, and it looks like there's like an opening in the middle of it, like a bay for an aircraft. And in the front of it, it says something like, "We can't wait for you to see what's coming." And along the banner, it looks like somebody's running or doing something, right? Like there's circles, and the first one says 1, 2, 3, and then question mark. And I was like, you motherfuckers. I'm like, that's got to be the Baxter building now. We were talking about. So who knows? It could be, because it literally, like, it's right in front of what used to be Avengers Tower. And it's clearly the only thing that's missing out of that is the number 4. So it's definitely like hit your fans over the head with something, right? So you get into some more scenes of like Peter just running around like a maniac now. There's one shot of him running through an office, and it looks like he's got the black suit on.
The black and gold suit.
Black and gold suit, right? Which is supposed to be, or rumor is, it's some type of magic infused suit, which is going to help him with the multiverse battle. Something strange helps him whip up. I don't know. But it's a black and gold suit, so it looks cool. And I think that's when you start to get the really big things in this trailer, right?
Well, so there's one thing right before this, may not mean anything, maybe reading far too much into it, but there is a little cutscene, maybe lasts a second or two, where it shows like this big ass dust storm in the middle of the city, and then fucking lightning bolts coming down.
Yeah.
And I thought, what villains are going to show up today?
Well, we know. All right, yeah. We know Electro is in it. He does not look like he did in the other one, so he's got more control over his powers or whatever. That lightning is probably definitely him, but the sandstorm, something else that somebody caught in a freeze frame, was not only is it a sandstorm, but as the lightning is coming down, it looks like the sand forms a wall to block some of it. So could it be Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman, and he's still not a completely bad guy? Right, maybe he's trying to protect Peter at the end of this thing. Who knows? We'll see. But I think you definitely got Sandman and Electro right there in that shot. And Strange is also talking to him, like his voiceover, explaining to Peter, like, the whole thing is the multiverse is deconstructing or whatever's going on because you want to live 2 lives. Your inability to stop that is causing most of this, which
well, that's a reference to the Nexus event stuff we saw in Loki, I swear, right? That's the timeline splitting, and he's going down one path and the rest of the timeline is not.
Yep. And then you get the shot of it's just the street. People are running out of the way of whatever's going on, and there's a street full of cars, and then you see a pumpkin bomb roll down the street, come flying out of the sky and hit the ground, and you hear Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin laugh as it hits. I hope and pray it's Willem Dafoe, like everybody's been talking about, and not James Franco or the kid from the second fucking Amazing Spider-Man. I'll throw a fit in the theater. It's got to be Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably not going to be.
You think so? You don't think it's going to be him? You think it's Franco?
I guess, yeah, that would actually be my guess, to be honest. But I mean, if you just look at the pumpkin bomb itself, like, that's nothing like the one that Defoe's character had. And
God damn it.
Well, I mean, it could just be updated. Fine. I guess the Spider-Man here is nothing like the Spider-Man we saw then.
Right. It could be he got pulled from his universe and then started using technology here to make his shit. There's no saying he had anything with him when he came here. But like that happens, and then immediately after that, out of more of the dust and the clouds and shit, a giant robotic octopus arm comes flying out, slams into the ground, and Alfred Molina, looking very similar. They de-aged him in this one.
You think so?
I think so. It looks like it because he looks very close to Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock. He comes up out of the clouds, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man lands in a fighting pose on the car in a suit and tie. And something I didn't catch, but somebody else did, and they did a side-by-side of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in the same fucking suit. Right? In one of the Spider-Man movies. The same exact suit, blue jacket and pants, the same color tie, right? Same thing. and he's standing there, and it cuts back to Doc Ock, and he goes, "Hello, Peter," and then Spidey suits up with his nanotech, right? Now, one of two things is happening here. Either Doc Ock just associates Spider-Man with Peter Parker, and that's fine, or Disney's doing another one of their Avengers Endgame or Avengers Infinity War, where they put Hulk in the fight scene, and that's not Tom Holland's Spider-Man on that car. Right.
That's possible.
I think that's what's happening. I think that's Tobey Maguire. Because that's something they're definitely not going to show in a trailer. They are not showing if any of the other Spider-Men are in this. But I can almost fucking guarantee the way this thing is building, they're going to be in it. So, yeah. So what else happens after this? That's about it. He says, "Hello, Peter."
Yeah.
That's the whole trailer, right? He says, "Hello, Peter."
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Spider-Man. No Way Home.
I don't know what the purpose was, but I did find it mildly entertaining that John Favreau's little cameo guy in the car with a gawking face is included in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely not
Make sure
any
Happy's
important part of the movie. It's just had to show the guy in his car.
Oh, no, he's happy. He's
Oh, that's right. That's right.
happy.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
he's
forgot about that.
yeah, sorry, not the emotion, the guy, happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's probably trying to help Spidey, and he's like, "What the fuck? Everything's blowing up." Yeah. So, thoughts?
It's gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah, Paul.
Come out tomorrow.
Right.
Can't happen fast enough.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this fucking movie. I lost my mind when I saw this. I watched it like 3 times in a row. So I caught a few of those little things in there. But yeah, dude, I cannot wait for this fucking movie. And
This
again,
is the reason to go back to I'm interested in Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. I don't know it draws me to the theater. This does. 100%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This and Ghostbusters in what, November? October? Whatever it is. Whatever day it is, because they're coming out close to each other. Those two movies will get my ass in the theater. This one, without a doubt, I'm in the theater, ready to go.
Ghostbusters is November 11th.
Okay, see, so these things are about a month apart.
Yeah.
I cannot fucking wait for these two movies. Yeah, I said it before with the end of Endgame. Like, I had no idea where they go from there. Holy fuck, they've got me hooked for this ride. Between the series and everything else is going, and now with this trailer, I'm like, still not 100% sure where the fuck we're going, but I'm totally committed to it, and I've got all faith in Kevin Feige. Our Lord and Savior, Kevin Feige. He hasn't missed it yet. This one looks amazing. So, all right, moving on. We'll breeze through these. Yeah,
let's just do the box office real quick, just because it might be review related, and I'll skip the last stuff. So, Candyman came out in theaters and on demand August 27th. Had a 20 million opening weekend. It's done 27 million worldwide on a 25 million budget. So I guess it's fine. It was #1 for the weekend, but the reviews I have seen have all been pretty much god awful. People are saying like, this is terrible. Never should have rebooted this. But that said, not that it has any competition, but it is #1 for the weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm still gonna watch that one for sure.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
I think the on demand is only like $3.99 or something anyway, so it's not like one of those pay $30 to watch it early bullshits.
That's convenient.
So yeah, we'll see. Free Guy, which we had talked about maybe reviewing at some point. Still doing pretty well. It's up to 78 million domestic, 179 million worldwide. Blown out that budget, and this was no on demand. That was theaters only. It had the number one spot for 2 weeks, maybe some change till Candyman came out. And then last, which is one we perhaps might review tonight, Jungle Cruise was released in theaters and on Disney Plus simultaneously on the 30th of July, which is almost a month ago now. Sorry for being late, but it had a 35 million opening weekend. It's at 100 million now domestic and 187 million worldwide. And I think we're going to review that tonight. Maybe. Are we going to do that tonight?
We can do it tonight.
We're going to do it some other time. But anyway, yeah, so that's all there really is to talk about in the box office, sadly.
Yeah, we can hit up the streaming next week when we do some more shit. But then by then it'll be all old news anyway. So I think the one key thing on the streaming that I did want to mention though is we've talked about it a couple times here is on Disney Plus. You've got What If. We're 3 episodes in. Are you guys all caught up with that? Because we need to review.
No, I've only watched the very first one.
I've seen the first 2.
Okay, maybe by next week, if you guys can watch all the way through 4, we can review the first 4 episodes. It's really good. I like it a lot.
It is really good.
How many are there going to be?
23. 1 for every Marvel movie. Up until that point. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
They said there's going to be 23, 1 for every Marvel movie. Now, I don't know that every one of them is going to stick to an individual Marvel movie. Some of them kind of seem to, like all 3 so far have kind of seemed to, but much like any What If, they go off on a huge tangent. But I thought I also read that at some point in there, like Nick Fury starts to assemble like a multiverse Avengers team out of these episodes, which kind of goes along with what I was talking about doing an Exiles show. It's kind of similar to that, which would be cool. I don't know what it's going to lead into or whatever, but I would be down for that too. Like a What If multiverse superhero team that kind of goes around to alternate universes. That would be kind of cool. But I don't know. It could be a rumor because obviously none of us are sitting in the room with them when they plan this shit. But that's one of the things I read.
Nick Fury's timekeepers.
Yeah. So watch those and we'll review the first 4 maybe next week. All right. And that'll be it for this episode. You guys got any last minute things?
No.
Oh, get ready for Spider-Man, people. Let's go. All right. Well, the same drill as always. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think of what's been going on in our Geekly by Curious Weekly. And hit us up at whatifgeeks.com, whatifgeeks@gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all that happy shit. And we will see you next week. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Mephisto.
Good night, Stallone.
Posing as Doctor Strange.
You said good night, Stallone?
Yeah. I was going to say forever, but it was just premature, a little premature.